Alright, now we're going to talk a little bit about the rowing machine or rowing ergometer. The first thing that you want to note is setting up the foot cup. So the foot cup is adjusted using this strap, and it slides up or down, and you connect it in with these holes. And what you're trying to do is get this strap right across the flexible part of your foot, right where your foot bends, the ball of your foot. You don't want it on your toes, and you don't want it up here where your foot's not going to flex. And you want the strap tight enough, well, generally you're going to be wearing shoes, but you want the strap tight enough such that you have something to pull against to help you pull yourself back up the slide at the end of your stroke. Second piece of thing to set up is the difficulty. This is a fan adjustment. It allows different amounts of air into the fan here. 10 is the hardest, the most amount of air getting into the fan. 1 is the easiest, the least amount of air. As you're just getting started, I suggest just starting with 1. There isn't any need to really put a lot of pressure on the oar, or what we would call paddle pressure. So start at 1. If you're really feeling like you want a little bit more difficult of a workout, go ahead and amp that up. You'll feel just a little bit more resistance on every stroke. And the last thing to talk about is the computer here. There's really only 2 pieces of information that I generally use on the computer. The first is this middle piece, which can be adjusted using this right-hand button. And I like to keep it on the split time. That's the amount of time per 500 meters rowed. So the lower this number is, the faster you're going. A good cruising speed is about 2 minutes of 500 meters. Faster than that is a great workout. Slower than that, you might start out there, and that's just fine. The second piece of information I use is up here in the upper right-hand corner, and that's strokes per minute, or cadence. I generally row with a cadence of about 23 strokes per minute, maybe 25. It doesn't necessarily mean that faster cadence is better. In fact, sometimes you'll find that, especially as you're learning, a slower cadence will actually make your split time drop because you're being more efficient. You are putting more energy into the oar than you are as you're just rushing around back and forth on the slide. Now, Olympic athletes might get up to cadences of 32, 35, but it'll take you a while to get there. Hi, my name is Todd Gage, and today we're here to talk about indoor rowing. Rowing is a sport of efficiency, and the 2 primary things that this will mean for you on the indoor rowing machine is, first, you want the oar or the bar to travel as straight as possible throughout your stroke. So no up and down, side to side. If you at any point have to go up and over this part of your stroke, that is an indicator that you're not being efficient and you might want to change something. The second thing is, any movement of your body should move the oar. So any motion that your body does that the oar doesn't do is wasted energy. So you want to keep your body and the oar moving together. Now, there are 3 primary parts of the stroke that we're going to break down today, and they are leg, back, arms. And so this motion is leg, back, arms, and then you do the reverse. Arms, back, legs. And the sequence again is leg, back, arms, arms, back, legs. Now, you'll notice that I do a little bit of a pause in between the 3 bit pieces, and that's just merely for demonstration and for practice. So as you are practicing these pieces, insert a little pause, make these pieces of the stroke distinct. Eventually, you'll get to where they can all work together and they're all smooth. But until you reach that point, leg, back, arms, arms, back, legs. And don't be afraid to say it or mutter it under your breath while you're doing it. It'll often help just keep you from trying to do back arms or leg, arm, back, or any other strange combination that you can think of. There's a warm-up that I use almost every time I get on the rowing machine that will help you remember this sequence. So you start in the fully extended position, legs out, back extended, and start with your arms here, and then just start with the arms. Just pull gently. You're not trying to win the race or anything, but just do the arms. And just thinking about this last portion of the stroke. And then incorporate the back. So you're just opening the back up a little bit. And again, you can even insert a little pause, separating out the back motion from the arm motion as you're getting to know it. And then finally, once you feel like you have arms and back together, you can incorporate the legs and do a full stroke. Now there's a couple things to note on each of the pieces of the stroke. The first is on the legs, you want to try and get, I have coach used to call it ass to ankles. Get your butt all the way to the front of the slide as much as you can. This is a good flexibility exercise, you'll eventually get there. But you want to do this without rounding your shoulders over. You don't want to hunch, you want to stay pretty upright. So the leg extension is just that. You're driving with the legs, you're keeping your back and arms locked, and this should all be solid, again, so that you're moving the oar an inch for every inch that you're moving these mighty legs of yours. Next part of the stroke is the back. Again, you're already upright, so when you reach the end of your leg extension, just merely open the back a little bit. This is a hip pivot rather than a shoulder roll or anything else, and it's not very much. Just a few degrees opening the back up. And then again, the last piece of the stroke, pulling your arms in. This is just the finish. You're really ideally you're accelerating through the stroke, so you just want to pull hard, and then at the end you're just going to let your arms go, just very relaxed, and then slowly make your way back up the slide. That's all I have to start.